There is a bit of skepticism when it comes to the Toyota Zenix. It represents such a huge shift from the Innova most folks know and love, so it's totally understandable. But change, whether we like it or not, is inevitable. No more diesel. No more truck chassis. Front-wheel drive. Those don't sound like ingredients for an Innova successor, but here we are today with the Zenix. With that, there are many questions that need answering here. But chief among which is this. Is it a good MPV in the first place? We're pretty certain that there will be two types of people judging the Zenix. There will be those who have made up their minds that the Innova is irreplaceable, and the Zenix won't cut the mustard. Oh, and that's even without reading the entire thing. The others will be a little more open-minded and let the car speak for itself. The Zenix has a lot on its plate then. It has to find a way to convince the doubters, sell in good numbers, and most importantly, be a solid companion on the road. What we have here is the entry-level version of the Zenix, the 2.0V. But when we say entry-level, it's far from basic. Mind you, we've driven the Zenix before, but only around a test loop. This time around, we're giving it the real-world test. We brought the MPV around the city through gridlock traffic, provincial roads, and on the expressway. How does one style an MPV? It's a vehicle that should put function over form above anything else. After all, its purpose in life is to shuttle people around. So it's safe to say that style isn't at the top of its priorities. Of course, that doesn't mean it has to look anonymous or, well, ugly. The Zenix does a fine balancing act of looking familiar and handsome. Okay, we wouldn't call it SUV-like, but it's not pretentious at all. That's something we can all appreciate in a world that tries to make everything look like an off-roader. It looks sharper than the Innova, that's for sure. And the new design makes it appear even larger than what the spec sheet suggests. It's just about 20 millimeters longer and wider, but it just has that bit more presence. Despite the bigger body, it remains well proportioned with no awkward angles or lines. It's a simple and clean design that's inoffensive to most eyes. It's just what most of the Zenix's customers appreciate then. Those thinking of getting a Zenix after the Innova will be pleasantly surprised. It looks and feels more premium than the model that it will eventually replace. The cabin is more in line with Toyota's passenger car offerings than with its trucks and SUVs. That shouldn't be much of a surprise as the Zenix uses a car platform. Oh, and here's a little fun fact for you. The chief engineer of the Zenix was also in charge of models such as the Sienna and the Previa. You can see some elements from those models applied in the Zenix too. At the front, the seats are mounted high and its center console is pushed as far forward as possible. That's to make extra space at the front and give more wiggle room at the back. Speaking of the back, the Zenix, regardless of variant, comes with a pair of captain chairs. The shift to a car platform has done wonders for space efficiency. There's loads more legroom and headroom, and the large windows give an airier ambience. It also helps that the chairs themselves are well cushioned and firm in the right places. The result? The Zenix offers a far more relaxing experience at the back than the Innova. If you have any doubts, we suggest you try it. Even the third row is more hospitable than before. Again, the shift to the car platform has made it more spacious, and there's finally folding seats back there. Sure, it's not the most commodious in the final row, but the seats are better with improved under-thigh support and a few more inches of knee room. If you need more space, well, we'd suggest getting a Hiace instead. Oh, and the cargo space is massive. It makes you wonder people really need a mid-size truck-based SUV. All is well, right? Well, there are a few caveats. The first would be the ingress and egress at the back. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with it, but we think the door opening should be wider. At the same time, it would have been nice to add a grab handle to assist getting in or out of the Zenix. Remember, it's not just adults who will sit back there. Children and seniors will be getting in there, probably more often than not. That extra bit of assist goes a long way for everyone. But for us, we'd love it if Toyota were to offer a variant with a bench-type seat for the second row. Not only does it boost its practicality, it widens the appeal of Zenix too. Just our 2 cents. And now for the bit that makes or breaks the Zenix, the engine. See, the Zenix's predecessors didn't exactly have great track records when it came to their gas-fed counterparts. Yes, they were durable, robust, and nearly unburstable, but most of them were also slow, unrefined, and very thirsty.